Alright, so I was dropped off at a place, and it's not the right place. So apparently this hostel used to either be located here or had a location here, and doesn't anymore. Good morning, friends. So I am at the airport, and I am on my way to another adventure. You can't really tell because I found a quiet spot, but it's actually a madhouse in here right now at 5 in the morning, which always surprises me, but that's just how it is. And so yeah, I am on my way to Fort Lauderdale because I will be going on the Celebrity Infinity out of there tomorrow. So spending the night in Fort Lauderdale and then, cruising out of there tomorrow. Sorry if I seem like lost and all over the place. I'm actually quite tired, and my brain isn't quite working yet this morning. But there's a lot of firsts in this trip for me. This will be my first time on Celebrity. This will be my first time staying in a hostel. So when I get to Fort Lauderdale, I will be checking into a hostel. And it was actually totally Tanya who inspired me to do that. She stayed in a hostel recently when she went out of New Orleans, and so I was like, I'm gonna see what that's like and whatever. If you didn't know, Totally Tanya is a subscriber of mine. She's been following my channel for ever, pretty much. And if you're not sure what a hostel is, it's basically a dormitory style hotel where you share a space with other people. In my case, it's like bunk beds kind of setup, which will be interesting, and we all share a bathroom. I recently stayed at a hotel in Miami that was kind of hostel-like, but wasn't a true hostel, so this will be my first experience with that, and we'll see how it goes. I'm a little bit shy and awkward around people, so hopefully I have some cool roommates or whatever the case. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna go to the gate and figure out boarding. I'll be boarding in about 30 minutes, so yeah, just getting the party started with this whole traveling thing for the day. And I'll be in Fort Lauderdale at like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., something like that, so it's not too bad, and then we'll go from there. And yeah, I'll of course take you with me. We'll see what we see and do what we do, and we'll talk soon. So I boarded the plane, and before I knew it, I was landing in Houston, which is where my layover was. I had about 2 hours to kill, so it was time for some food, and I went and grabbed some Tex-Mex because obviously when in Houston, do as the Houstoners do. It was actually pretty good, so I'm not complaining, and before I knew it, I was back on the plane and making my last leg over to Fort Lauderdale. When I got there, I grabbed my bag, and it wasn't too complicated to figure out where I needed to go for the ride share, and I called my Uber, and he picked me up within a few minutes, and then we were on our way to what I thought was my final destination for the evening. Alright, so I was dropped off at a place, and it's not the right place. So apparently this hostel used to either be located here or had a location here, and doesn't anymore. It's actually 6 miles away from here now, so yeah, that was a waste of $20, but it literally shows in the map as the correct place, both in like the Uber maps and Apple and everything, but unfortunately this is not correct. I've put in the actual address this time, and so hopefully this Uber, when it gets here, will take me to the right place, but I'll keep you posted, and we'll talk soon. So for the second Uber, I actually typed in the address, and that got me to the right place. It didn't seem to be in the nicest neighborhood, but it was nicely manicured and kept up. And they issued me this card. I'm not too worried about showing the card because they say that they change the codes and everything every day. And then that gave me access to this room where my bunk was. I was on a top bunk because it actually cost more for a bottom bunk, but I didn't mind being on top because I felt like it was easier to keep my stuff secure there. They did have lockers, but unfortunately my suitcase didn't fit in the locker, so it was was nice to be able to have it up there with me in a place that it would be really difficult for someone to get to without me noticing. Here's some footage of the shared bathroom. It wasn't the cleanest on the planet, but it wasn't all that dirty either. I opted to wait to shower once I got on board the ship, but otherwise the facilities were easily accessible, and I never really had a hard time like running into anyone or anything like that. And the bed itself was surprisingly comfortable, so I slept and woke up the next morning and then said goodbye to the hostel before calling an Uber and making my way over to the cruise port. Good morning, friends. So I have made it to the port this morning. Wow, lighting's really strange right here. This makes my eyes look dark. Anyway, I promise I slept. I found the right place with the hostel and everything. But anyway, I am at the cruise port. It's a little crazy here at the moment. But I'm gonna head inside and get on board. So, and then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I'll take you with me. We'll see what we see and we'll do what we do. And we'll talk soon. Embarkation was a literal breeze, and before I knew it, I was walking up the gangway. There were quite a few people boarding with me, but it didn't take long at all for us to make it to the actual ship, and we were stepping on board, and they were waving us on and all that stuff. And after going down the boat deck for a couple hundred feet, they directed us into the lobby atrium, which they call the Grand Foyer. I think that's a celebrity thing. They kind of have the heart and soul of the ship that they call the Grand Foyer, and it's a really nice area. They've got like live music, a couple of bars, a cafe, etc. in there. They even did the silent disco in this area, which really surprised me, but ended up being a really, really cool thing. Once I got on board, my room was already ready, so I made my way down to deck 2, and it was interesting because one side of the area where my room was at was a sectioned off crew area, and then there was my hallway where there were several rooms where passengers were staying. All right, so I am here. My SeaPass card was on the door, well, in an envelope on the door, and yeah, got some paperwork, some a little Effie gift, and obviously this is the bed, and a giant mirror on the wall, and that's me. Hi. So yeah, I've made it on board. Embarkation was super simple, super easy. They're not checking vaccine cards anymore, because you don't have to be vaccinated to sail Celebrity as of yesterday. Yeah. So all sailings moving forward, you don't need proof of vaccination. They did ask me if I was vaccinated in the health questionnaire, and marked that I was vaccinated and boosted. But like I said, you don't have to be. And I was on board like probably in like 15 minutes. The Uber ride over here was pretty easy. I will say that at the like checkpoint to get into the port, they were extra particular. They checked my ID and proof that I was on a cruise, and then my driver had to be checked, and they opened the trunk. They wanted to look inside the trunk. It was kind of a process. But you know what? We made it through, and went right up to the ship pretty much. So here we are, ready to get this party started. We'll talk soon. So I made my way up to the pool deck and just kind of checked out the setup or whatever, since it was my first time up there, and then I went to the pool bar and grabbed a drink. I grabbed a Miami Vice because I can't really think of a better drink to have when you're embarking a cruise ship, and so then I just hung out and waited for the sail away party. Hi friends, Travis here. So I just embarked the ship. I've been here on board for maybe about an hour. I had some lunch, and I'm sipping on my first drink. Well, actually second, because I had a beer with lunch, but anyway, Miami Vice. Shout out to Kurt and Marcia for, introducing me to these. I'm not usually a fan of frozen drinks, but we had one of these on the MSC Divina, and it's kind of become my embarkation day tradition to have one before sail away. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, so far so good. There's a little bit of wind, so hopefully it's not like killing your ears or anything, but that's it for now. I want to thank you all for sailing with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.